in EVE Online. Let's see what's going on with some reports. Of course, patch day. There are going to be lots of reports of things here and there. But the invasion is here. We're going to try to check it out. We're going to also check out some of the new stuff that's come out, including the 64-bit client. We'll try to show you how to get that. And I think most of the problems we're hearing about are not related to the 64-bit client, so maybe it's pretty good to go. And it's even on Mac and the PC, so that's a win. Okay, good morning.
And I have returned from running the invasions pretty much from the release till now.
Yeah. Let's actually...
I will.
Go ahead. Hello?
My key misslipped. So I will say this: as the invasions stand right now, they seem to react to whatever's on grid capsuleer wise. So if they applied that same mechanic to nullsec and replaced anoms with basically reactively spawning stuff like this, I would not mind at all. In fact, I would welcome it because for once I had actual fun PvE in Eve.
Actual fun.
Actual fun in PvE, and rather than seeing PvE as a way to make yes for your PvP endeavor.
Well, I like that. Okay, let me... So it's early on, though. How long have you been playing with it? Hi, Amar. Well, it's early for me, I should say. This has been out for, let's see, it must have been 5 hours by now, right?
Yep, 5 hours, and I probably spent 2 or 3 hours beforehand prepping and getting ready to run this stuff.
What ship are you using, Killer?
We're using sacrileges, ham sacrileges with Guardian.
Oh, okay, so you have Logi support as well.
Yeah, Logi support.
How many do you have in fleet then?
We're talking about 7-man Logi fleets, and right now it seems like they don't actually have sites yet. That they just spawned fleets into system that you have to descan down and warp to. And opposed to like wormholes where most of the loot is in the blue of the value of the sites in the blue loot, which you loot out, it seems like the most of the Triglavian value is in the salvage. So we are running into a lot of ninja salvagers coming in, salvaging 5, 6, 7 wrecks, and then warping out.
And you don't go suspect from doing that?
Beg your pardon?
Do you go suspect if you loot or salvage someone else's wreck?
I believe so, but they're warping in and warping out so fast that we can't take the time away from dealing with the rest of the rats to deal with them.
Okay. Well, I mean, it sounds like you guys have a very organized fleet going then. Because I was supposed to be doing this solo. That was my plan. I ended up spending 3 hours doing a fit instead. So I haven't even
Doing
tried
what?
that yet.
Doing what instead?
Doing a fit.
A fit.
Yeah. I mean,
Sitting there
I
fitting your
can't
ship.
help myself. Yeah. It's like I wanted to do a Tengu because I have a Loki that I love flying, but it's very expensive and it has some really good Abyssal models. And then I had not enough power grid and not enough CPU, and I didn't enjoy DPS. So in the end, it ended with me buying 10 billion worth of Abyssal mods. So I kind of failed doing this. But some people were saying that you could do it solo in small agile ships, perhaps?
Definitely, because if you look at the side bonuses, you get something like a 45 to 50% bonus to ship agility. But the thing is that we know drones will never be a thing for running the Abyss, because you get something like a 50% reduction to drone speed and a 50% reduction to drone damage. So pop drone ships, Gilas, rattlesnakes, whatever, Ishtars, VNIs, they're not going to ever be a thing in the site.
Before we go on, hold on a second. Let's actually take a step back for a minute. I want to show people how to get on the 64-bit client. So we'll start there, and then we'll talk about Abyss and how it's going. We'll go and see if we can have a look at it. We'll also talk about some of the other features. Does that sound good?
Go.
So on a Macintosh, anyway, which is different. Yeah, I'm showing accounts. It's okay. Everything's second auth, so I'm not that worried about it. What you want to do on your launcher is down here. Actually, you won't find it here. That's what I did first. I went looking through all these tabs, and I didn't find a 64-bit client anywhere there. So what you want to do is actually go to, for a Mac anyway, go to the preferences on a PC as well. And you're going to get something that pops up looking like this. And it's right about the middle, run clients with 64-bit. So now when you run a client, when this thing launches the clients, it will launch the 64-bit version. The first time you do it, I think it will take some time. You might see this bar down here, this blue bar, begin a progression. And when that's over, you should be able to play. So I'll go ahead and jump in with an account and see what happens. So again, that's in preferences. You'll find a setting that says run clients in 64-bit. And it's up. Just shrink things so you guys get the full view. All right, so that's real time. There has been some lag issues. It's speculated that it's server-based, not necessarily. So now I will click a character. And this is new. Earlier today, you'd click on it and nothing would happen. And then you'd wait 15 seconds and it would log in. So this is starting to catch up, basically. So I guess they're fixing their servers. So I'll get into a character, and everything seems to load fine. It just takes a little bit longer right now.
CCP patch day. Don't expect the best of everything.
Well, I'd say it's pretty good for patch day. So there it is.
Yes, I would agree. I've been playing for the past 5 hours, and most of the people I've been playing with have no complaints whatsoever about logging into the game and actually playing the game. I haven't seen any game-breaking bugs yet. It's been mostly complaints about not being able to log in.
There is also something I'll just show you real quick here called the Wine64 preloader. So you may want to check that off. It's going to ask for permission under security and privacy. So you might want to turn that on. I'm not sure what that's about, but it looks like it's appropriate. Okay, and that's on a Macintosh, how you get into 64-bit client. So check it out. It's under preferences, run all clients in 64-bit. That's the checkbox you want. Okay. Whew. Shall we go through some of these features here? Let's see.
Absolutely.
All right, well, the big one is the invasions. Now, who's seen an invasion? And let's talk about that.
I have.
Okay, killer of. This is not killer B, this is killer of. So what have you seen on the out there?
So So one of the more interesting things is that in high sec, at least, all the Scordite asteroids get replaced with this new asteroid that pretty much gives you all the minerals in Eve at once. The non triglavian minerals, trit, pyrite, all that stuff. And then what's even more interesting is that you get in the main HQ system, you get a 50% reduction in your cycle times, 50% faster cycle times in your lasers, mining lasers, which I found extremely interesting and makes me think that they're probably never going to be able to bring the invasions out to null, or not without changing the bonuses radically, because 50% bonuses, people aren't going to bomb the incursions, they'll just mine under the incursion umbrella.
So what you're saying is they have mining bonuses in the systems, and there's every kind of mineral to mine there. So that's
every mineral to mine in the same rock.
In the same rock? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I'm watching a raven die now.
That is wild.
Yeah, but that's only in the Scordite rock. So, but that just makes me think this is going to be high sec and maybe edge of low sec, because there's currently one low sec system under the thing. But I haven't been in that low sec. I've been mainly in the main hub, the foothold or whatever it's called. I think it's foothold, adjacent, and perimeter systems. Perimeter being the equivalent of scouts. Adjacents being the equivalent of vanguards, and footholds being the equivalent of HQs as far as we can tell.
Heads up, I'm activating the abyssal...
1 second, I have some video running that... There. All right, let's actually go have a look. Where's the nearest one? How do we find these things? Let's go to the agency.
Agency, and then there's the first thing you'll see when you open up the agency is like 1/3 of the screen is taken up by Triglavian incursion splash. You see, click on that, and it'll tell you the 3 incursions that are going on right now.
Okay, here's how you get to the agency. It's your first button on the top left by default. You'll see it here. When you click it, it brings up agency. And agency is going to show you everything that you can do around you, pretty much, anything that's in the game. So the big one here is Triglavian invasion. Let's click on that. Okay, so this tells me what systems or what constellations they're on. Those are the 3 invasions that are happening right now. So let's see. This one is 5 jumps away. The other 2 are further than that. So we'll hit this one in Hotomo.
Yeah, there's one invasion that's like 5, 6 from Jita. Which show like everyone and their mom is there. 200, I think 256 was max local.
There was actually a couple fleets killer.
Yeah, I know. I was running with the Arc fleet. I know there was. I saw a Dilaton fleet, the armor incursion fleet as well.
Okay, let me just unmute some people here. Okay, we also have, once you get into the incursions, you'll see set destination once you pick the invasion that you're looking for. So I'll do that. I'll hit destination. And it should program my autopilot, which 3 jumps doesn't sound right. Let's do that again. Should be 5 jumps. So we'll click there. This is 5 jumps. We want to hit set destination.
You probably clicked one of the perimeter or adjacent systems.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Because but the actual system you see in the invasion agency sheet at the max level is the foothold system. That's the equivalent of the HQ system.
Got it. So
something you will notice
Yeah.
when you go to head towards those systems is CCP put in quite a lot of warnings for players. You get a warning message from them when you undock an incursion system for Triglavians. You get a warning message when you are about to enter a system through a gate. And then even if you look at the show route, you know how normally it's a bunch of squares for each system denoting security status. A system that is under Triglavian incursion is a triangle instead.
That's neat. That's
And
cool.
that makes
let's see that.
That makes me really curious because my fleet, when we ran it, it seemed like the gate rats didn't really do much. They applied DPS, but they didn't web or scram you like the Sancha rats did. But they do, however, hunt you down in your safes, we know.
Yes, they will attack you in safe spots, on citadels, stations, moons, posses, everywhere in system. They actually have the same. They have the same mechanics as the diamond rats you'll find with NPC Satios. So they have the ability to air quote combat probe you down and warp to you. And their AI appears to be very similar to that diamond rat AI that we've already seen.
Yes, I think this is a further evolution, and perhaps I would like to say a prototype for redoing Null with actually interesting anoms that makes people actually want to stick around and do them rather than AFK Rat, because they're all so predictable.
Yeah. So Marathia, who's the other person talking, is a long-time FC for Spectre Fleet, I believe, and also mastered the Drifter incursions. One of the guys that did
way back.
Is that way back already? Yikes.
Yeah, it's like 3 years ago now. Yeah.
Yeah, and since then he's been doing a ton of Abyssal stuff and mastering that.
Speaking of mechanics with these, I can actually shed some speculative light on how these work from our findings in the first incursion that spawned over in Hitomi.
Sure.
There are officer spawns. Some have come across them. We've killed 5 or 6 so far. Called Zoria. It is a Washak battleship that is basically just a bigger, badder Washak. The speculation is that killing the Zorias, which do respawn, is in some way tied to pushing back the incursion. As we've noticed, as they start dying, in your agency guide, it gives you statistics, like lore statistics saying the ARC ship is present or it's no longer present, so on and so forth. And as they've been dying in Hitomi, that has changed from conduits are being established, enemies are showing up, which when that happened, more and more fleets were spawning, to now the ARC is no longer present and things seem to be winding down in the Hitomi area.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
now, of course, that's just speculation. We don't have any confirmation on it, but as more and more of the Zoria officer spawn die, it has been seemingly reducing the number of NPC fleets that are spawning.
We noticed that as well, that the NPC response fleets tend to be dying down as well. But we also had a question. They said in the agency that the incursions would be established over the course of the coming days and weeks. So we were wondering, was it perhaps a bug or something? But we didn't get to kill any of the Zoras, so that might indeed explain the whole retweeting incursion thing.
Okay, well, here's the first warning you can see on screen. If I go into this system, it's going to ask me, now this is normally this is a very safe place to be, but if I want to jump through, it's going to warn me that there's a Triglavian invasion. The destination system is currently being invaded. Accept this risk by jumping through this gate. Are you sure? And this is reminiscent of when you first travel to low sec. It will also warn you that you're going into an area with less security and that you are going into a dangerous area. Do you want to do this? So we'll say okay, and we'll jump through. We're trying to do the very basics, guys. So don't get too deep into Triglavian stuff. We'll bring you in for like an interview on. Wow, there's already a bunch of activity. You can see the red dots are.
You'll also notice something else, Matterall, if you zoom out and look at the skybox.
Yes. Zoom out.
The skybox in the incursion, I don't know what your graphic settings are at, but the skybox in the incursion seems to be
very red and, you know.
I am zoomed out as far as I can be. There must be a different way to do this.
Do you not see
No,
the
it's-
red background in there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're red.
Oh, I thought you were looking at this. Yes, so I can see that the whole system is turned like a red. It's easy for you guys to see. There you go. So that whatever system, whatever color this system was, it's now red, just like incursions turn a system green. So that's pretty interesting. Also, you'll notice, just like incursions, you'll see basically a little control panel for status on the invasion. And you can see that here. Triglavian scouts have been spotted and conduits forming. Temporal flow anomalies spiking, agility increased. So this is telling me this system is contaminated with an invasion and it's affecting how pilots perform in here. So there is increased agility, so your ship will move faster. This works for everybody in this system. Drone damage is reduced. I'm just looking at the last sentence of each of these because that's the actual result. The first part of it is descriptive. The second part is the actual result. So drone speed reduced. Hull hit points reduced. Mining cycle times reduced. Now, invasions may do different things in different systems, but one of the things that we were talking about earlier is that mining times are reduced now, so you can mine a lot faster in here. A reduced mining cycle means that you will be able to mine faster. And it looks like there's a lot of action here. There's... But the Triglavians in this particular gate are defeated. It looks like there's a bunch of loot boxes or whatever that fell. Wild.
Yep. The ships themselves only drop basic loot rat, like ammunition and such.
Most of the value is in the salvage.
Yeah. What I really like about this is the touches, right? Look at the system name. The current system is, I can't read that. It's in Triglavian. It's a bunch of triangles. So they've taken over the system and jammed up your actual information. And that is such a nice touch.
Also, warp to a citadel. It's actually pretty interesting what they've done to the citadel.
Yeah, citadel or a station.
Okay. Well, I'll go to a station. We'll just go top station, warp to 0. I'm going to zoom back in. My settings are kind of dark, but I'm playing on a tiny client, so you guys can all see it rather than a full screen. Although I should probably play full screen. Maybe I'll do that in a minute.
You're going to want to zoom out just a little bit.
Yeah.
What am I looking for here?
If you zoom out and change your view so you're kind of looking top down at the station, you will see kind of like, I don't know what to call it, like an aura, like what you'd find on citadels that denotes, who owns it and whatnot. I don't see it on yours, but maybe you can see it on your end.
It's kind of faint. Scroll out a bit more. You see the vertical tower. You'll see some vertical towers.
Yeah, let me dock and undock and I get a better position. I came in on the back of this station. Actually, I do want to check out the inside of a station. In incursions, the station will actually look different. Here, again, we have obscured stuff, but the station looks normal as far as I can tell.
Yeah, as far as we can
You'll get
tell.
a pop-up when you go to undock.
Ah, okay, so the system you are undocking from is invaded by... Okay, so if you fell asleep in the station, you wake up to an invasion. Wow, I've got to wash the incursion out of my head. You will get warned again that you're exiting into a dangerous situation. Even though this is high sec, this is not a safe place.
Yeah, it's the same thing with incursions, basically.
Fonsway, I did see the incursion. I don't know if you guys caught that. I'll dock again so you could see it. Let me see what's going on with this tower. You know what? I have bright lights in my face so that you guys can see that, see me, and so I'm seeing pretty much darkness. Let me actually change that.
I'm not actually seeing it on yours, Matterall.
Oh, okay. So let me also check my graphics. My graphics are high. Yeah, they should be able to pick up all this stuff unless there's new things I need to turn on.
I'll just take a screenshot on my end and post it in the Discord.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We notice it more prominently on the actual structures themselves.
I'm switching my brightness up, which is just to see stuff, so it'll look less glamorous, but maybe we can see some stuff. Wow, this is funny. Look at this. Did you enjoy EVE Online today? It's a little survey now. And with the thumbs up, thumbs down. Well, let's see if I hit thumbs up. Okay, nothing happened. If I hit thumbs down?
Yeah, that's
Nothing
bugged.
Okay, so maybe that's a little something for later. I was thinking there would be a survey that you'd have to fill out. Okay, I can see a little bit better now. Now, before I get too far, I want to dock up again and see that Triglavian stuff. That was really cool. Oh, what is it under general settings? If you're looking for brightness, it's kind of hard to find. I'll just show you. It's under graphic content settings where you would do your post-processing, the shader and all that stuff. And it's a little button up here called brightness. And if you hit it, it gives you basically a gamma slider. And then you hit save. And that's how you change your brightness on the client. It's kind of tricky to find. Okay, I may have floated away a bit. So yeah, invasions are in high sec only. You guys probably know that. But these things are dangerous, so it's kind of like low sec really coming to high sec. Now up here is where go ahead.
Even though they're high sec only, as Killer pointed out, if the high sec happens to be in the same constellation with the low sec or on border, it will spill.
It's not by constellation; it's by number of jumps from the center.
Oh.
Yeah, within 3, I think it is.
Okay, watch this. Watch this undock here. Okay, so I'm going to undock, and I think it should. Oh, last time I saw some Triglavian writing. I guess I didn't see it that time. Well, that's interesting because if it doesn't break down by strict regions or constellations, then that might be a sign for the future.
It's jump breaks down by number of jumps from the foothold system, which in this case I believe it's 2 jumps. You get 1 jump out is the adjacent systems, and 2 jumps out is the perimeter systems.
This actually means that it can also potentially spill into nullsec through systems like Torinos, which borders immediately null.
Yeah.
Or Janin, I think.
That's low sec, but there are a couple high sec straight to nullsec ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the border of head GP, I think there's like 2 or 3 Orville, I think, in Placid. Oh no, I'm dying. Hold on, 1 second. Doc. Please, Doc. Doc, I said Doc. I'm getting neuted and oof.
Yeah, the Triglavians.
Look, my shuttle is just roasted. It's like I'm a s'more or something. Somebody put me over a fire and cooked my ship. Okay, so it happens fast. Don't hang around. They're not joking. You can see my scorched ship. Wow. And this is what I love. Let me just point this out. Look, this is what I love. People in local asking to get into fleets. And Marathia, you're a proponent of strangers in fleet. Yeah, public fleet, strangers in fleet. I love that. That's a great thing.
By the way, that's a specific chat window for the Triglavian stuff.
Yeah.
You got that one when you go into it.
It's actually kind of funny. When everything went live, there was one person went straight to the first constellation and began to mass invite people from the invasion pop-up window, which is exactly the same as what you get in Sancha incursions. And from there, it just kind of snowballed into a giant 200-something man fleet of everything under the sun.
Wow.
If you check Discord, I actually posted a screenshot of what you should see on the undock. It's a little dark because I have crappy graphics, but hey,
Hey, what do you know? Let me put that on.
Yeah, but from what we've seen, we know that you seen Triglavians bashing structures as well, Marathia? We've seen them bash multiple structures.
I've seen them shoot at one citadel, but not for very long.
Yeah, we have this theory that eventually, if you leave the Triglavians or you farm them long enough, you can eventually get a situation where the Triglavians reinforce the citadel, and
That
you have potentially citadels destroyed by Triglavians, just as you would citadels destroyed by diamond rats.
I was gonna say that seems extremely likely because that's how diamond rats work. I've seen them destroy Fortizars before, so.
Fortizars.
There was
wow.
one poker that nearly got destroyed. Came into
Actually-
light before people showed up.
Technically, the fort lived, but only because GOTG dropped every Titan they had to save it.
All right, so what you're seeing is the beacon that sits on top of stations, right? That's what we're looking at, that red beacon.
So normally you have the docking radius for stations and citadels, the little ring and whatnot. This is a new ring that is about 10, 15 kilometers outside of that one. That is all red, and if you zoom in on it, we'll actually have the Triglavian icons, and it's kind of like the basically like they're hacking the station. It looks like, or and it's all structures, citadels included.
Well, this is interesting here. This is new. It says board my complimentary Corvette. There's a button that popped up. Let me get rid of this thing here. 1 second.
Yeah, that's new. So now instead of getting a Corvette automatically when you dock up in a pod, you now can use that button to get one.
But I'm not in
And
a pod.
if you
I'm
already
in a damaged shuttle.
I
Yeah.
understand that.
Oh.
So the button now always exists. And if you hit it when you already have a Corvette in the system or in the station, I think it just puts you back into that. So it puts you in your Corvette, and if you don't have one, it gives you one.
And it exists for all stations, citadels, and whatnot.
Oh,
So
Citadels
my
too. That's a
fear
big deal.
is- Yeah, my fear is that you'll see a lot more Sino Corvettes and that the T1 Frig market's going to drive up a bit because people are no longer buying Sino Frigs. They're now buying buying Sinos and Ozone and just shipping that out.
Well, we're back to that. That's kind of the way it was when there were still stations in Null, but now we're definitely back to that.
Yeah.
All right, so here we are. We are in an invaded system that has been invaded system. You can see the system names have totally changed. Even though this was a 0.8 security area, it is no longer safe. So when I undock, it'll say you're going to undock into a safe area. You can see my shuttle already got roasted because I was hanging out too long. And this new button here, board my Corvette. Let's see what that does. It should pop up. Yes, puts me in a Corvette, which is really cool. That happens, as we're hearing, in every station. You have that option. That's just such a good solution for the way it used to be, because you had to do some gymnastics of getting in your pod and docking on a station that didn't have a ship in it. Then it would propagate the shuttle for you, not the shuttle, the Corvette for you. And then you would grab that, and then you'd run it to the station that you wanted to be at, and then you would light your Sino from that one. For advanced players, you'd light a Sino. But the point is, it was this little song and dance you'd have to do to get a free ship that you could Sino, and it was totally expendable. Now you can just push this button.
Dude,
So-
check the cargo hold. They're saying that they don't give you the one Veldspar anymore. My plan for getting ISK per hour by spawning shuttles or Corvettes is ruined.
Oh, that plan was
Matterall.
ridiculous. Yeah.
It was very ridiculous.
If you check in the general, I posted 2 more screenshots for you real quick of the Triglavians actually assaulting a citadel. and they do some pretty cool graphical stuff to it, kind of like the Seekers and how they scan your ship.
Mm-hmm.
They've stopped now because some player warped over there and is now getting killed in its place. But
Give me a second to put that on screen. In a minute, I want to hear from Killer B. He's stopped by, and I want to hear what's going on with him. But let me put these images up first. And this is a citadel being attacked. Sorry, it's a structure, not a citadel, being attacked. Yeah, engineering complex. I'll put those up in just... Okay, here they are. So there's two different images. They're not side by side, two different images. Maybe that'll be a little clearer. Of Triglavians attacking a structure. So it is possible. These guys are fierce, these little guys. You cannot stand around in these systems. All right, thanks for those. Let me get an update from Killer B if you're still here. Oh, he's not. Don't know if he's listening to us right now. Put him set in 0. All right. Well, when he makes himself available. Oh, Dunk Dinkle's here. He's back from Eve Down Under. How's it going, Dunk? How's it going, Killer B?
Pretty good, as usual. Most of the time. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear both of you. Real quick, Dunk, did you like Australia?
Australia was great. The people were better. Had a fantastic time with all the Aussies and Kiwis and the assorted few people that came in from elsewhere. It was really a fantastic time.
Yeah, you look like you were having fun there. And I didn't realize it until I saw you both on stage, but you went there to see your fearless leader, Kagali.
Yes, after 6 years of knowing each other online, we got to meet in person, and that was really amazing. And then one morning they just said you two were commentating the tournament fights, and we said, we don't really know about PvP, and there we were.
Oh, that's awesome. Killer B, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Wow.
Barbecue season has started in Germany, so it's always a good time.
I didn't know there's a barbecue season. So it goes from now until when? Oktoberfest?
Until the summer is over, whenever the weather turns shitty.
Thanks, Dunk, for a subscription. That is awesome. Appreciate it. Real quick, we always want to check in on what you're doing and what's going on in Tribute. A couple days ago, there was a pretty good fight that you got into where you were outnumbered, it looked like 2-1, and you came out with the victory, at least on the amount of damage that was done. Yeah, on paper.
Yeah. We also weren't 2-1 outnumbered. It was at the beginning it was pretty even in terms of numbers, and then Horde arrived, and then more Imperium reinforcements arrived, and then towards the end of it we were 2-1 outnumbered, but at least like 190, 200 of those were the Eagle fleet, and basically the second the Eagle fleet arrived, we left. So we were like, it was even at the start, and then it turned to be outnumbered for them for a little while. Then we were outnumbered, and then we were really outnumbered, and then we left.
Yeah. Well, that's why
it was a very good fight.
Battle reports are just some information. They're not the whole story. So, what was that? Was that a routine kind of, you picked a fight that you thought you could take and you just did it, or was there something serious at stake?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, they were shooting some structures as they've been doing ever since they deployed their Keepstone KQK. They're just reinforcing structures, jammers, jump grades, citadels, everything. And they were shooting a couple of jammers out of range of KQK and in direct range of us. So I flash formed for it and demolished their Megatron fleet for a decent amount of time until the blob arrived.
Yeah. Were you using AHAX, I think, or something fast?
Oh, Munins. AHAX
yeah.
do not exist.
Yeah. Well, that was interesting. People kept dropping it in public. I was like, wow, they're really starving for victory because they keep posting that even days later. I thought that was funny. Still, the inevitability of Imperium kind of bringing down Tribute, is that still happening?
Not much has changed since when did we last talk? last week,
Yeah,
Thursday.
it was last
Pretty much a
Thursday.
week ago, right? Or
Yep.
something, or Wednesday or something.
No, it was,
I remember I had to leave for work, so
it was a Thursday, I think.
yeah, Thursday.
So nothing's really changed. It's all the same.
It's all the same.
All right, cool. We did publish that last Thursday's stream. We published that. We normally don't, but it was such a good one with Killer B talking about Tribute, talking about Sword Dragon, so we put it out there. So you can listen to that if you haven't.
It's interesting.
All right, cool. So let's go back to Marathia, who's very experienced at these things, and ask a bit more about how these things work. And did you say that, Marathia, that one was being defeated or in the process of being defeated?
So the one that's going on right now in Hatomi, or whatever the heck that system name is, it started out the very beginning with a text statement in your agency. If you open up your agency window, let me pull up mine real quick.
Yep, I'm opening it.
Tomo, that's it. Over on the left, it says invasion info. Underneath that, you have Triglavian presence is decreasing. Well, that was not what it originally said. At the very beginning of the morning, it said what you will find on the one for, I think it's Khalil.
Khalil, is that, do I have to go back to the, let me check what the alternative is. So Khalil, and yeah, it says a mysterious Triglavian vessel has been detected. That would probably be the World Ark.
Yep, the World Ark.
The Collective's World Ark. It's one of those giant ships that you see. Is Elon's, and could be the largest vessel in New Eden. So that's what it says when it's starting, and when it's looks like it's on the decline, you have
it instead say that it's decreasing, the World Ark is no longer detected. Now, what causes it to go from the first stage to the next stage isn't exactly known. The only thing that we can surmise is, much like with Sancha, defeating the mothership causes the incursion to despawn. With this invasion, defeating the leader, which we surmise to be the Zoria officer ships, causes it to take damage and degrade, similar to completing sites in normal incursions. The more Zorias that fall, the faster the invasion ends. That is the working theory.
Working theory.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the things that's new about this is CCP. It looks like it just updated. I don't know if it does that normally. CCP has been pretty good about not giving us information on how these things work or what loot they drop or any of that sort of thing. So this is all a discovery phase, which is, I think, pretty good.
Fortunately, the loot portion of it is actually pretty easy. The Zoria actually drops guaranteed mutagens for the new mutagens that are coming out, the remote ancillary repair as well as the damage controls. Which one exactly drops is, RNG. All of the ships, from the frigates to the battleships, have the same chance to be salvaged for one of the 5 new T2 components for making the T2 ships. Quantity does not seem to really be tied to the size of the ship. It's just a random number of those materials. And then all of them as loot, as actual in the Rex, have a chance of having the red survey databases that you sell to NPC buy orders.
You'll notice that in some cases you could get the actual ship data skills themselves, the ones that you need to build the ship itself.
We had not come across any of those. We were wondering if those were only to be found in Abyssal Space like all the other skill books. Are you saying you found some of those from the drops of like Zorias and whatnot?
Zorias, yeah. There's one on market in Jita for like 1 bill right now.
Yep.
And that would match with the Zorias being like the ultimate loot drop boss. Like
I don't know if, unlike normal officers, their frequency is a bit higher, let's just say. Let me give you a nice little screenshot here of 2 officers gate camping Widama as if they were...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is because they're so much more prevalent than normal officers. That's why you can stuff skill books and such inside them rather than officer module. At least that's what we think.
So can I ask a question about, is there any negative effect? Is there any chaos created by these things, or is it simply let's shoot them?
Let's
Realistically, pretty
pretty
much just let shoot them unless you're trying to do high-sec logistics. It's going to be a massive disruption. Someone pointed out in the chat, so far these incursions or invasions are pretty nicely centered on the popular routes between like Amar and Jita and Heck and Dodixie and yada yada. Like they're right smack dab in the middle of them.
Very good.
Yeah.
Do you remember when the Triglavians were doing those videos and they showed like if they were scouting or spying on high-sec haulers? Was
I
that
do
part
not.
of the
So
indication?
the war is on high sec hauling. That's what the invasion is to.
No, these things actually, if they're near, they're not just in high sec, they spawn in high sec, but they can actually radiate out into low sec and even null sec in systems that are close to high sec. So it's more of a distance jumps from the core, the center of this invasion, and that's how it radiates out. But I think to start, CCP has probably put them in places that are well trafficked.
Now,
Yes, and we don't actually know if they'll extend out into null. We just speculating that based on the fact that we have seen them extend out into low.
some of you might actually remember with the original Drifter incursions, of which these rats and their mechanics seem to pull a little bit of the same features. The original Drifter incursions expanded endlessly if left unchecked, which caused massive problems and was later removed because no one was stopping it.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see if these will do something similar. And lore-wise, it seems to be like they will expand to a degree, but how far and what implications that will have, who knows?
In other words, they grow.
Yes.
Hopefully not, but yes.
Their disruption area will grow. Okay. I'm going to step away for a second.
And is the disruption just they might scram some things? Is that what it is? I mean, compared to standard incursions in which in nullsec you can't sino, it has major impacts on things. Is it just that they scram people?
So the rats right now, unlike in like high sec incursions for Sancha, these ones will gate camp even in high sec, and they will kill everything indiscriminately in high sec quite effectively. The lock time on them is really fast, as Matterall here found out the hard way.
Yeah.
So getting by them without fighting is going to be rather difficult. So a system or set of systems that is an invasion is, for all intents and purposes, shut down.
All right, there's a question in from chat from Raiden Harmon. He wants to know the fact that they didn't release this on CC and let everybody kind of, not everybody, but people who wanted to expose themselves to it before today. Is that a good thing? In other words, this expansion is hitting us with a lot of mystery behind it that we're just figuring out now. What do you guys think of that move on CCP's part, not to present this information on CC?
I actually think it's a good move for the game in general because now it's not people can theory craft and have everything ready before the expansion to max run it like high sec incursions are run these days with max I don't know what you call it,
Meta fits
and max dank ticks per minute and hour and whatnot. People are, actually discovering and proceeding cautiously. Because, I mean, when we started out, we had something like 7 bling fitted incursion guardians to start with, was what we started with, and like another 10 sacrileges.
I would actually have to disagree with Killer to an extent on this. Normally, when new content is put into the game, it is tested thoroughly on CC first, more for making sure it doesn't break something. With content like this, which is a reskinning of incursion mechanics, combining other mechanics from the NPC Sotios and Drifter incursions before it, I don't think that not putting it on CC is going to add that much of a sense of mystery. As a good example, Killer, your consortium fleet already has them pretty much beat. A simple cheese tank thermal explosive fit of Guardians and Sacrileges took on a fleet, which I have screenshots of, that was over 60-something ships, mostly with shacks and cruisers. Or, sorry, not with shacks and cruisers. Damaviks and Kikimoras, and then a bunch of nuding with shacks and all that. So if 20-something people can annihilate 4 times their number of NPCs with ease, frankly, I don't think not putting it on CC is going to have any impact at all.
Yeah.
I disagree. Not necessarily because like you would want the content to be so long before it becomes beaten. I don't think that that's the point. The mystery of it does a few things. First of all, the thing I like about it is that all of the, and I know everybody's going to be like, oh, it's Ash. All of the lore leading up to this, all of the story leading up to this got people excited about it and scared of it and interested in it on a level that I don't think would have happened if it was just like, and here it is on Sissy, and Gentleman Gamer has put out his video of showing it off. And you know what I mean? Like the fact that yesterday I had people all day coming up to me, so what's going to happen in Invasion? And the only answer I had was, I have no freaking idea. I think that that's really cool. And I think it was also really risky of CCP to do it untested. But as you pointed out, they were working with already proven technology, and they're building up from that. And obviously, they rolled it out successfully, and I think that that's the biggest key. So not only is this really good for right now, but what does this say for Chapter 2? What does this say for CCP's capability of doing these kinds of things? Because prior to today, I was unsure that CCP could pull off something like this.
Well, I love the fact they didn't tell everybody what was going to happen, and then I thought that was awesome. What I don't love at first glance, and my mind may be changed, is that this seems to be far less impactful to the game than the hype of a year-long promotional event. And
this is Chapter 1.
I understand, but for the hype that has been going on, it just, I have to say, it doesn't meet the expectations of creating chaos. And so here's the impact to someone like me. I'm going to outsource my hauling in HiSec. Like, I want gates shut down. I want blue donuts broken by, major systems going down. I want chaos. And this is not that. Now, maybe my expectations are too high. I love that we don't know what's coming, but this should have been a punch in the nose of everyone who played Eve. And this is like a pebble in a shoe.
So I got to say something to that. If this is only Chapter 1, like they've said, and it is using technology that they've already used before and iterated on, some of it having to be scrapped, such as the expansion of it when it's left unchecked. If Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 results in it showing up in low-sec and then inevitably in null-sec, I think we're going to see that disruption and that chaos. I don't see system jamming at the moment as an effect on these incursions, invasions, whatever. However, you don't necessarily need that. If your other effects are, drone damages and agility and things of that nature, and if it does different effects, which I am strongly thinking it will do different effects, they had talked about multiple effects before, then having a system like, say, your staging, which all of a sudden has minus 50% to all resistances or minus to speed, some stuff like that, that will cause absolute chaos for anything.
Well, from your lip to Bob's ears.
I will point out that, like you said, Ark has, at this point, pretty much figured out how to cheese the incursions, and we've noticed that pretty much that instead of it being, sacrileges farming it, it's just going to be freaking carriers and super carriers farming it at 100 and just sending out fighters and just blapping them all. And I feel like that we'll just see if they do end up in staging systems and such, that it's not going to be that impactful, because people can nuke incursions in 2, 3, 4 hours max with a full-on super fleet. And I think we'll just see, it's impacting our main staging, just nuke it.
The problem is, if the theory about them having to kill Zorias in order to reduce the effectiveness and eventually wipe out the invasion is true, you have to track them down. You have to actually tackle them and keep them held and kill them. And capitals are not going to be the answer to that. For one, all the Triglavian ships kill fighters extremely easily. We know this. Even strong sub-capital ships can be volleyed off field by these fleets. I've watched a poor Retribution who had his ADC on get one shot through ADC, wiped right off the field. So I don't really think capitals are gonna matter too much for Null. I think these will stick around for longer than 2, 3, 4 hours.
Maybe, but we are just with these bonuses. It's just going to be, maybe like a sub-tackle fleet made up of sacrileges or munions, because munions seem to be a common nullsec doctrine these days. And just tackle fleet of munions, they blap the Zoras off the field and give it 3, 4, 5 weeks, and then people will figure out how to headshot it like they do in normal incursions and farm.
Well, this is interesting. I'm outside the station, and you can see light going through, light and what looks like mist going through the system, which is kind of neat. Maybe it's just around this station, but if you look carefully, you'll see mist and light rays, kind of like subtle light.
I think that was the effects that they were trying to tell you about earlier.
Oh, is that what you meant? The auras?
Yeah, there's auras all over, and then as well, you can actually see it now on your end. The 3 pillars of light there that go straight up in the air around the station.
Yeah.
And it kind of form a circle.
Really cool. That's neat. I mean, that's getting there. That's,
So, I got 2 things to say about what they've been talking about.
Hmm.
First of all, the World Arc's gate is way bigger than a Leshak. So there's no reason to expect that if these invasions started to happen in places like Null, there's no reason to expect that Zoria Triglav would just be running around in a Leshak in Null in the same way that she's running around in HiSec. Exactly. And the second part is, this is my concern about this. This is where I'm really, really torn about this. Because on the one hand, there's people like Dunk Dinkle that wants the world to burn and wants the trig to like show up and just ref everything in nullsec if they want to. But like, nullsec is a bunch of PvPers, and PvPers really hate when PvE imposes itself upon them.
And that's all the better. That's all the better, is get them out of their comfort zone, right? Like,
I mean, I don't disagree with you.
Left to our own accord, you get what we have today, which everyone complains about, but nobody wants to do anything about. So fucking break the rules.
Well, I think it would be really interesting if they actually started to try to take Sov.
I think you have to be careful, though. You want to make life hard for the people that are up for the challenge. Nullsec players or PvPers in general, they're up for the challenge because they want to compete with other players. That's why they PvP. But you don't want to disrupt the mundane tasks that people like, the busy work that people do to soothe themselves instead of, you don't want to disrupt that too much. You want to make the game harder for the players that want to make the game harder for others. I would think it's a little more directed than that, but I get what you're saying, Dunk.
Yeah, but I feel like that you make it too hard, like any campaign can be ruined and balances on the flip of a coin whether you get an incursion spawn in it or not, rather than just, skill and talent and numbers and whatever alone. And I feel like that's going to take away a lot of the achievement of being in Null and, taking Sov by yourself instead of, holding out and only because you got a Triglavian incursion.
By the way, that's funny, Ashtarothi, you say non-conventional PvE, LOL.
Non-consensual PvE.
What did I say? Conventional?
The conventional.
I meant non-consensual.
It's also that.
Yeah.
I hear what Killer Ave is saying, but I think, in recent months, I've been doing a lot more talking to a lot more people in a lot more wider scope, and everyone wants things to change. They want change.
Who are you talking to?
Well, I just spent 4 or 5 days with a bunch of nerds in Australia, definitely talking to people I don't normally talk to. And, you go read any of the public places that people post, whether it's Eve or the forums or Discords, assorted Discords. People want change, and they want things to the overall meta to change a bit. And I was very much looking forward to this, and there may be more to come that does that. But when I saw game animations of gates shutting down, boy, I was like, this is going to be fantastical. And it is not fantastical at the moment.
Underwhelming.
I gotta agree with Dinkle on that one. I definitely on the change part. On gate disruption too, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with Dunk that disruption would be awesome. I'm just saying that trig incursions as they stand right now are just going to be regular incursions.
So the thing, my big disappointment is why aren't we able to do anything for the Triglavians? Like, why is this 100% one-sided? And if it's meant to be 100% one-sided, then why did all of the buildup prior to this really imply like Capsuleers having to make a choice? Yeah, exactly. Like, and this is what bothers me, is that it's not like it's just a normal slip-up. CCP knows that players want to work for the bad guys. Like, every single time these kinds of things happen, there are players that want to work for the other side. And so the idea that they would tease that and then not do it is kind of troubling, but it also, like, I still think that I still hope that hints at what's going to happen in the subsequent chapters.
Do you remember the Drifter incursions, Ash?
I do.
Do you remember the standings and how strange it was where you shoot even one Drifter and your standings basically were the same as if you just potted a player? There was a lot of speculation back then, and even talks when CCP were talking to people on the Slack about it, about what would happen if, you could choose to help the Drifters versus the Amarian Empire in the same way that you could help Pirate Faction through missions to fight against the Navy Empires, or Empire Navies, rather.
Yeah.
I have heard that this is a partial, people speculate that this is a partial implementation of the stuff they know they work because they wanted a smooth launch. But I can't speak to that being true.
Makes sense.
Either way, there's a lot we don't know is pretty much the bottom line. Anyway, I'm going to pop off because I'm going to keep wandering around to other streams and possibly go live myself soon. So,
toodles.
Go
good
soon,
luck, guys.
And I'll raid over to you because I'm going to take off.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm going to set it up then.
Yeah, set it up. I'm going to take off in about, I would say 10 minutes.
But
I'm going to first explore a little more of this.
If you'd like to see the Zorias, Matterall, I actually posted a screenshot of 2 of them on a station after they just killed some poor.
Zoria, that is, I see it. It's hard to get a lot out of those images because I have to blow them up so big to be read, and I already have it in a small space, but I will put them up. I'll put them up and just, let's see.
I think I need to assemble like a biggest questions that remain like list.
Yeah. I just think that that we'll definitely see at the very least some major stuff come out over the next couple of days. Because I know people have, I don't think anyone's run a filament in the invasion system yet.
Not yet, no.
Well, at least they haven't posted about running it yet.
Holy crap, that's a good idea. That might have to happen today, yeah.
What might have to happen?
Opening up a filament within the incursioned or invaded system.
Heck yeah, so I could grab like the Omen T2 build and just run over there and do it. But it may require, I mean, if there is something special, it may require a T5. It probably would, but we'll see.
So on screen,
that could break up the Isogen 5 storage and create new gates somewhere, I hope.
I think it's if anything that's going to be in the T5 filament in the incursion zones, like the World Arc build sites could only be found in T5 incursion.
Yeah, that's why I said that. There is no Isogen 5 Are you talking about Isogen 10?
Right, Isogen 10. I
Isogen
want some
5
gates
all blew
blown
up already.
Find me a way to blow up some gates, please. I'm happy to correct the barrage flow any way I can, but I want some gates destroyed.
Or at least disrupted. I wouldn't mind a device
Like,
that would allow
let's
you
shut
to
down.
temporarily
Let's shut down
things.
like perimeter Jita or neuralgia or whatever it's called. Like, my urge for panic is high.
If CCP had really wanted to like be ballsy, they would have started all of the incursions or invasions in the capital cities. So like Dodixie, Amar, and Jita all get an invasion on day one.
I would love that. Oh, breaking news, JEVE Assets has been updated with the new data, the new type IDs, so you can now use JEVE Assets to track all of the new stuff that's been put into the game today.
I wish they would just have good asset tracking in the game, but that's good news. Check this out.
They actually do, but the problem is that it's a database dump, so once it gets put live, you have to pull the dump and put it into your thing and sort everything out.
Well, I just wish it was organized a little bit more, I don't know, a little in a way that was more easier to use. So look at this. As Marathian was saying before, the systems that you have to travel through that are under invasion are triangles. I think that is really cool. We're going to jump through the gate. We're going to go to the center of this invasion and see what we can see.
Should be stuff happening at the sun in our system at the moment.
Matterall, are you flying a Corvette? Are you a poor?
Yeah, I'm flying a Corvette because these guys are gonna eat me alive.
He's got to fund his CSM campaign somehow.
Yeah, he almost lost his CSM shuttle. Was that
I got a lot of farmers to pay off. A lot of skill injecting farmers that are zombies. I got to pay off their owners for their zombie votes. I'm just kidding, by the way.
So, Maravia, what would you say the ESC per hour is looking like if you can actually get the salvage and such?
There's no way I could speculate on that this early. I ran with the primary fleet of randos for about not quite an hour, and I only got enough salvage, and I'm not going to say I'm great, but I have good crabbing skills. I only got enough materials to make half of a frigate. So
what materials drop?
So the salvaging, when you say salvaging, are you using the salvaging skill or
yes, you have to actually salvage the wrecks of the NPCs, and doing so will reward you with 1 to 10 of the materials needed to make them, the 5 new types of material. Actually, I'll post a screenshot and you can see what all I've gained so far.
There's something Dunk likes.
Is there any restriction on mobile tractor units or anything like that?
No, and funny enough, people have been dropping them and everywhere a fleet shows up, and that's actually done nothing because an MTU will pull and then pull a wreck that's closest to it, which is usually somebody else's wreck at their MTU. So they just play tug of war while you fly around.
But you can salvage without triggering Crime Watch at all. Right?
Correct.
So that's going to be a very extremely low risk thing.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's low risk, as several people have found out the hard way. Just going on grid and trying to salvage, if you go in the middle of the fight, there's a decent chance you'll die. If you go after the fight, there's a decent chance you'll get nothing because it'll all be gone. There's no way to secure your loot like you could, say, in an incursion where they have to come in through gates and whatnot, or go suspect in order to get it, and then you could just kill them.
Yeah, or you have a consistent source of income, aka the SLEP payouts.
Yep.
Well, bringing a salvaging cormorant to these things would put my ninja looting mastery level 5 to a test.
Get it to 6.
So how do we locate the baddies in this system? I'm now at the core of the invasion. D-scan. Okay.
D-scan.
Yep, you can find them that way. You can warp around. They're usually found around the Pocos of planet, stations, and citadels. Those are the most common places to find them.
There's a huge fight going down at the sun at the moment.
Oh, yes, there is. Also worth noting, while you are engaging the random fleets of enemies, they reinforce. So you could be fighting, thinking you've won, wiped them out, and all of a sudden 2 times as many as what you were fighting originally can warp in and start kicking your face in.
Yeah, that happened to us a bunch
Yes,
of
it did.
times.
I honestly hoped you were going to die a little bit.
We had Guardians dip to like 66% structure, but that was like at the edge of 2 waves. We were killing off one wave and then had another wave spawn. But yeah, my gut tells me that basically this is
Cool.
that give it a week or 2 and then it's going to be a bunch of ninja looters trying to ninja loot it, and there's not going to be much incentive for regular people to run it if they can't, secure any assured ISK or anything, because they have to focus on DPS and staying alive as opposed to looting, because, they primary the people who shoot them and the logi.
I don't actually find that to be an issue, because the number of systems at any given time that are going to be under attack, then the number of NPC fleets that will spawn in those systems, you should easily be able to secure loot for your group without contest of other people. You might have a ninja looter come take some pieces here and there, but realistically, if you have someone who's coming in, like, say, catalysts, things like that, to try and loot your claim, all you need is just to have someone show up in a Thrasher and just suicide gank them. No big deal.
Oh, Matterall, if you want to see them, you have to enable the new Triglavian stuff.
Yeah, open your overview settings, and under the bracket, or not the bracket area, the settings
Or
where you
just
select
right-click
it.
on the rat.
Yep. If you can see one,
Say
even.
that again.
Yes. Open your overview settings, and then type in invasion in the search bar.
Okay.
Or invade.
Invade. Okay. Invade showed nothing.
Because they're called invading, right?
Invading.
Invade.
Yeah. Invading precursor entities. So we'll turn those on. And there appears to be one, or is that a Goonswarm guy? I don't know. I think it's a Goonswarm guy.
So CCP coming out with new PvE content that's designed for new to mid-range players that don't show up on your overview is just mean.
That's the kind of stuff that is a terrible oversight, frankly.
Yeah, not being enabled by default is, well, I think a freighter died immediately after downtime, so yeah.
Well, that's going to happen all day.
Yeah.
That's good, but you shouldn't have to learn a system to learn a different system. There needs to be some independence or some considerations made for. Why am I looking at this guy? I'm going to look back at my ship. Some consideration made for players that are coming into this game, although maybe CCP just assumes that everybody that's here is who they're building the game for.
No, I just suspect that it's like this always happens with the overview. I just suspect that there's something like odd
isn't it
based on like CCP.
I thought the information is stored in the local client, and they don't push the settings. They can push the format and how the game reacts, but I don't think they can push the individual settings that are stored on your computer.
Well, yeah. But it's a client, right? Like you could just put a thing in the code that would, like, you could fix the client side too. I'm just saying, like, I think it's because of the way that overviews get saved, and there are some people that may not want their saved overviews to be modified randomly. I don't know. Maybe new players are going to have it on by default. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm going back to Top Station. It's by the way, do people still say Top Station, or is that an old thing?
I still use Top Station.
Does anybody know anything about any new ore? Because that was another thing that they mentioned, and there's the mining bonus.
Apparently, if you warp to one of the asteroid belts and look at the scordite rocks, the usual scordite rocks, they've been replaced with some sort of new ore that I've heard. I can't say this is 100% true or not. It's supposed to come in 3 variants: the 0, 5, 10% variant, and you get one when you reprocess it. It yields the primary ores and the secondary minerals, but of every single mineral in the game at once, supposedly. I cannot speak to if it's true or not.
I'm gonna try to find it in the market.
Wild. Dinkle, how's your campaign going for CSM?
Pretty good. I'm hoping to release a video today. I have the day off from work to recover from traveling across an ocean. So
No wonder you're
I
here.
can take Mrs. Dinkle out for brunch and then get to finishing the video and then posting, and hopefully, now that I'm newly inspired, to ninja loot the hell out of HiSec. Go ninja loot HiSec.
Good luck with that one.
So, Marathia, have you actually seen any conduits, or is it just seems to be all of the looting of the field type situation?
No, I have not seen any new type of structures or anything of that nature.
Yeah, no new site. So that just makes I just wonder what that whole thing is going to look like.
Has anybody physically seen the World Arc in known space?
Not yet, no.
No. It may be that it's something that you have to combat scan.
Well, you said that somebody's already made the World Arc withdraw in a location? Right, no.
Sorry, not
but
by
that's my
seeing
point.
it. Right, not by seeing
If
it.
it can go all the way to the withdrawal state without seeing it, I don't know what that means.
So with the Sancho ones, you have to kill the mom to make it withdraw. Well, in this case, you're not killing something that's bigger than several Titans with subcaps. Come on. So having it so that you kill the officer spawns instead to whittle down like an influence bar effectively makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe in low sec, null sec, there might be the mom and the world arc, and it might be just different in low and null, where you can actually use capitals and such. But
Right. I'm just wondering whether or not it's in the game, and if my point is that if you can go through the entire invasion without encountering the World Arc, then it's possible that it may not even be a visible thing yet.
Yeah.
Although there's multiple types of sites, so have we gone all the way to like the heart of these things?
We have gone through to the heart of these things, but we have not found any type of sites yet.
Wild.
I mean, I assume that you didn't see one on D-Scan or anything like that either, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't think that the World Arc would be a site.
Maybe it is that you triggered site spawning by running a level 5 filament in a system successfully or unsuccessfully.
Well, I'm just saying, like if they were to do it, they would likely do it like a fob, right? Where it's in the system, but you have to descan it, or you have to, be able to find it.
Matterall.
Maybe not fob, because those are able to be seen in the agency.
What's
Matterall? Open up your market real quick and search for BEZ. I think everybody's going to want to see that.
Okay.
That is the new ore. And if you show it's reprocessing, killer is correct. It even gives you mercoxit or morphite.
Wow.
What was the ore?
It's
BEZ, Beznadine, or Bedna, however the heck
It's Beznacine. It's a new
Okay.
ore. And it looks like it breaks down across all the minerals. So it's an omni mineral. It's an omni asteroid, and it has all the minerals in it. It has good amounts and really nice proportions.
including morphite, which I find to be kind of interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's normally dangerous to mine morphite, but here you can get it probably. Well, it's
In
probably dangerous
HiSec.
too. Yeah, and in HiSec.
So here's a weird one. If I search for it on the market, I can find it. But if I search for it with universal search, I can't.
Maybe a database thing. You know what? Put it in the market and do an info on it, and then look at the industry tab.
Yeah, no, I found, like I said, I was able to find it on the market, but I first tried the universal search and it didn't work. So I'll probably put in a bug report for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neato.
I'm actually attempting to find some unmined rocks of it, but no luck so far.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how much is it going to, what quantities is it found in, and whatnot.
Well, it takes 100 units, which is 16 meters cubed of Bez.
It doesn't say how many units you need to break it down, does it?
Attributes.
16, okay. So you need 16. No, units processed
100.
100. Yeah.
Yeah, 100, which is 16 meters cubed of size.
Oh, let's put that in perspective. So how many would fit in a... Oh, I guess it depends on the ore hull size or ore bay hull size.
Yeah.
Well, a small ship probably wouldn't do you much good, but if you got a mining ship out there.
Veldspar is 100 for 0.1 M3.
So it's actually quite high of an M3.
Yeah, it's a lot bulkier than Veldspar, that's for sure. Which means probably, because things are always valued at like ISK per M3 when it comes to mining, right? So that probably just makes it more efficient.
Because you're mining all the minerals at once.
Something that's worth noting is that this item gives, I already said it once, this item gives morphite in high sec, and unlike mining mercoxit, you don't need specialized equipment to mine this stuff.
Yeah, it's a bit bonkers.
My question is, what ore scale CL crystal do you use on it? I'm just wondering what would a rock wall mine. I just don't think that this will. I think this is a high sec only mineral to try to.
Well, if the invasions are only in high sec, then the mineral would also be in high sec too. The Venture has a ore hold capacity of 5,000, so I should go try to see if I can mine stuff.
Wait, is Talisonite? Is that a new ore? I haven't seen that.
Yes, that's another one. There's several actual new ones. That was just one of them. There's Rakavine, R-A-K, and Talisonite, and then there's also something called Temporal Resources.
There's new ore. There's new ore.
There were 6 of them, to my knowledge.
There is new ore, and they go into standard ores. So, wow, that is cool. Of course, they break down into the same minerals, just different composition of the same minerals, but that's all right. This one actually doesn't have everything. The one that we were looking at earlier, the Bezd, that has everything. This does not have 3 things. And let's see what else.
There's Rakazine, which is right under the Pyrorack.
There's Fluorite.
Right here. Fluorite, that's hilarious. Yeah, this does have all of them, but a lot less than, or less than the Bezd and Fluorite. Where's that?
All right, I ain't gonna lie. I already like this board my Corvette button.
It's great, right? I like that. It's just clean. It doesn't like. That's what I hate about mysterious mechanics that players know. That other.
It's not even about mysterious though. For me, right now, I was like, I need to head from one place to another. I just dropped out of my ship, and I'm like, man, what am I going to take over there? Oh wait, click, undock.
Yep, that's what I did. No, but it's just neat. I think it's a very clean and elegant solution for something that didn't need to be a problem in the first place.
It also oddly gives value to Corvettes again, more value to a Corvette again.
Yeah. I think it's more elegant. I don't see any other ones. They must not be here, or but there's one.
Yeah, fluorite does not seem to show up in the market, but talassonite does.
3. Yeah, I only see 3 new asteroids.
We have only
cool.
seen the new ore and the new in the belts yet. We don't have reports of new ore from anywhere else quite yet.
Yeah. Oh, that is really cool.
So far, it looks like in general the invasions just transforms the system into having just those activities. So there's rats that roam around. It's not like there's key positions. You just kind of go in there with your team and you do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually brings up what I was thinking about earlier, which is that all of this together really seems like the goal is to bring a team, some people that can secure the area, and then other people that can like exploit what needs to happen, right? Like if you can bring a mining ship and a salvaging ship and then hold the grid with your defense team, you can get a lot of work done.
So something I'll bring up about the salvaging, it doesn't take hardly anything to successfully salvage. In fact, you're almost guaranteed to succeed on your salvaging attempt at this time. When I was going through, I was using a catalyst with T1 salvagers, and I was kidding when I said I have really good salvaging skills. I actually have abysmal salvaging skills. And every single cycle of the laser pretty much would complete on a ship. The battleship took like 2 cycles. So...
well, they're incentivizing people doing the content. I think it's pretty cool. You go in there and you risk your life mining, but this is high-risk mining. That's a form of what I would call active gameplay, right? It's high risk, but you're going to get a better reward, and you can get some of the stuff that you normally would have to buy off the market or go to nullsec to get. That's pretty good gameplay. The systems that are affected you can find inside of the agency. If you open it up and you hit the big banner for Triglavian invasions, it'll tell you what systems are being invaded. Now, the thing about it is these are the main system, and it radiates out a few systems, I think like 2 jumps out of that particular area. So it's these systems plus about 2 jumps out. All the systems that are 2 jumps out are contaminated as well. So when you go into those, it's more dangerous. These are all in high sec, as you can see. It's a 0.6, 0.5, 0.8 security systems, and this is not going into nullsec or lowsec at this time. Although it is postulated that if one of these is on a border system, that maybe at that point the infected systems, the ones that are 2 jumps away from the core, fall into lowsec or fall into nullsec. That's a possibility. But I like this, that it's not just a constellation like incursions are. This is important because if they have this technology like light years or a radius effect from a certain point, this is a radius effect more or less through jumps from a certain point. I think that's pretty important because if they can use that technology for markets and other things, that it might change the game's landscape and geography quite a bit, which would be interesting because it needs a shake-up in that sense. Oh, there has already been a low sec that has it. A 0.5 system has low sec that has been affected. Thank you, Jivai.
The very first one had, or the second one had a low sec system. It was just 1 jump out. I thought we mentioned that at the very beginning, that it could spill over.
It could spill over. We weren't sure if it could, but...
No.
We've been there.
They're hypothesizing about it spilling into nullsec because it is spilling into lowsec.
Yep.
I see. Thank you.
So if it were to spawn like in Torinos, for instance, is the one that I think of, or Head GP, or not Head GP, whatever that other system is that leads to Head GP, Kebers. If it were to spawn in Kebers, then Head GP and one other system in nullsec should be affected.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. All right, well, we'll wrap it up. I think that was a neat little tour for the beginning. Thanks, guys, very much for walking me through that. That's good. We'll do it again on Thursday. Maybe we'll go a little deeper. I didn't actually see any of the... I can totally see the stuff you were talking about earlier now. I did get attacked by the Triglavians. They almost wiped me out, so I parked. And they are attacking structures, which is kind of interesting. and we'll see how it works, if it grows or if it stays the same shape and it's just essentially an incursion from the abyss that does a little bit more. There are weather effects that you can see right here. It tells you like how ships are affected in that system.
Matterall, you are in Hatomo right now, correct?
I can't tell. It's in Triglavian.
If you click on it, it
yeah.
actually translates back to normal. If you actually click on the system or
Yeah,
when
so
you show
I'm in Hatomo.
info, it's fine.
I am Hatomo.
Well, if you want to take a closer look at just one singular rat that probably won't kill you quickly, you can go to the Planet 6 Belt 5. There's a single one here. It's scanning asteroids, and there's an interesting interaction, or rather lack of interaction, with the asteroid mining NPCs, the ones that mine out belts and HiSec and nullsec. It doesn't seem to attack them at all.
So I'm going Planet 6, Moon 5.
Belt 5. Belt 5.
Belt 5. Try that again. So belts.
Planet 6, asteroid belt 5. It's third or fourth from the bottom.
Okay, 6, 5. Got it. All right. I thought you meant moon. When I come out of warp, I'll actually go there. And then I'll head out for the day and let somebody else take over.
I'm up, by the way.
Okay, great.
Oh, are you gonna stream, Ash?
Already am.
Ooh.
Let's see.
I beat you to it, Ash. I get all the streamers. All your subs will be mine. I'm just kidding. No one subs to my stuff.
Okay, going to Belt 5 now. Now I'm going to the real place. As you can see, the whole place turns red, has glowing effects. It kind of feels like a watered down's the wrong way to put it. A diluted version of the intensity of abyssal space, which is much more intense than this. We're gonna raid Ash in a minute, so just stay on this channel, and in a minute we will go over to Ash's channel.
Right when you showed up, the NPC warped off. That's funny, but also funny enough, somebody just opened up an abyssal site right when you went in.
Oh, really? So somebody's opened an abyssal site.
Yeah, 100K away, you'll see the abyssal trace over there. But yeah, it was interesting. The Damavic, there was only one of them that was here. It was scanning the asteroids as well as scanning these NPCs, kind of like the Seekers did on Gates, but it wasn't attacking it.
That's interesting. We need to ask that guy what happens if you open. Well, we'll find out, right? Ash, you'll probably do that with us. Open up Triglavian.
That's one of the things I want to try today. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we do know that the high-tech system, when you do level 4 and 5 filaments, the criminal or whatever timer is back.
No, it is not. That was they used old assets in the original agency on Sissy, and then they confirmed that that's not happening. So unless you've seen it actually happen on Tranquility, the current state is that it's not supposed to be coming back.
You're sure about that?
That is my best understanding about the situation. So, like I said, they used an old asset when they made the original agency on Sissy, and they even said so, and that was just part of the old string. So
okay.
It's been changed.
I thought it kind of strange that they would get rid of it because it was a problem, and then suddenly it's not a problem anymore.
To put it another way, if they were to put it back, they would have had to make a really big deal about it.
So this is really interesting. Look here in the chat. We hear from Elmer Fanos. Sorry about the name pronunciations. Ran several T5s, no timer.
Excellent.
I'm sorry, what?
It says ran several T5s.
Oh, no suspect timer.
No suspect timer. Okay. I thought
you meant no timer inside the abyss. Yeah, that's what I heard at first too, and I was like, wait, that changes everything.
But that would be amazing, wouldn't it? Like that would be a really interesting twist if you're in this invaded space that you don't have a timer if you go a little further into abyssal space. That would be pretty.
That would be interesting. Give it that.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up here. Thanks very much for watching. We're going to go over to Ashtroth. He's going to take us through the rest of the day, pretty much, doing abyssal stuff. Have fun, guys. Thanks for showing up. We will talk to you later. Let's see how this works. All right. It's gearing up. We're gonna move over in 2 seconds, and there we go. Let's raid now. Bye, guys. Thanks very much.
Good show, Matterall.
All right, I'm going
Thanks,
to drop
man.
off so that way people don't continue to hear it. Have a good one, guys.
Good show,
Bye-bye.
Matterall.
Bye. Thank you.